I've been using the iPhone 16 Pro Max for the last 3 months, and before that I had the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So this is going to be my experience in the last 3 months, and of course I'm going to tell you, was the upgrade worth it, what am I disappointed on, and what are the best features you can find on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So if you're excited, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. This is my big long-term review, and of course my Christmas special. Thank you guys for watching, let's get started. So, 3 months is actually a very long time to own a phone and to review it. I've done 1 month review, 2 week reviews, and of course my first impressions. But it's these reviews, these videos, after 3-4 months that really count for the experience of using a phone. The iPhone 16 Pro Max was, and it is still, a very small upgrade over the iPhone 15 Pro Max. There's no doubt about that. They have the same design, they have the same overall look, the same overall weight. They are made from the same materials. They use the same port, USB-C 3.0 speeds. They have the same display, 120Hz, 2000 nits, peak brightness OLED display. One slight change is that the iPhone 16 Pro Max has a 6.9-inch display while the iPhone 15 Pro Max has a 6.7, and of course if you go for the Pro models, this has a 6.3 while the 15 Pro had a 6.1. But outside of that, these are very similar phones. Again, the only big changes from this phone to the iPhone 15 Pro Max was the camera control and the 40-megapixel ultra-wide lens. So, if you are expecting that this review will be game-changing and will be me talking about how good the iPhone 16 Pro Max was in relation to older iPhones, well, sorry to disappoint you, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is a very small upgrade over the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But that doesn't mean that it is a bad upgrade for most people. The iPhone 16 Pro Max still has incredible battery life. It has the best camera in the world. It has one of the best displays in the world. It has the best materials. It's the most premium phone in the market right now. The iPhone 16 Pro Max was not made for people that have the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Neither the 14 Pro Max. It was made for people that have 3, 4, 5-year-old iPhones and they want to upgrade right now in 2024. And for that, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is an amazing choice. Starting off with the display, this is a 2000 nit peak brightness OLED display. It has 120Hz, it's 6.9 inches in size, and it's gorgeous to look at. The colors pop, but it's also very accurate. So this display, I would say, is the best neutral display you can get. The Samsung S24 Ultra has a more saturated, more vivid display, while the Google Pixel 9 Pro's display is brighter. But I would say that the iPhone 16 Pro Max display is more balanced. This is my favorite display out of all the flagship phones that I've used this year. S24 Ultra, 9 Pro, and now the 16 Pro Max, this one is the best. 6.9 inches in size, 120Hz, OLED, I couldn't have asked for more. But of course, if you put it side by side with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, again, a very slight upgrade. It's only like 0.2 inches in difference. That's ridiculous. Who cares about 0.2 inches? Am I right? But again, that's not the point. The point is not to compare the 16 Pro Max to the 15 Pro Max, neither to the 14 Pro Max. If you compare it to the 12 Pro Max, the differences in size are noticeable, and the bezels are much smaller. That's the target demographic that Apple is actually aiming for with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But moving all of that to the side, the iPhone 16 Pro Max display, it's gorgeous to look at, it's incredible, it's big, and one of the best, not the best in the business. So, great job, Apple. As for the batteries, well, Apple actually managed to increase the battery life of this phone coming from the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I would say it's a 10% improvement, but nonetheless, it's an improvement, and it's actually really good. So I would say I can get 1.5 days out of battery here, which is insane. I mean, if I check now my battery health on this iPhone, it's at 100%. 3 months later, it still has 76 cycles. That's really good. If you think about it, 3 months, around 90 days, for 76 cycles, well, that's like 1.25 days out of a battery. That's really good. And remember, I'm a power user. I use this phone for everything. I manage my entire YouTube channel, email, professional work with the camera, video for the channel, everything. I use this iPhone a lot. This is a powerhouse of a phone, and I use it for that. And it still managed me to get 1.25 days, which is 1 day and 1 quarter. For you, it managed to get like 2 days if you are not a power user. An average user can get 2 days easy out of this phone. And not just the battery life. You can also charge this phone faster. Apple increased the charging speeds via USB-C and via MagSafe with the iPhone 16s. So the battery experience has become much better with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. better battery life, better charging speeds, and specifically better battery health management. So I think that after 3 months, I did not have 100% with the 15 Pro Max. Especially the 14 Pro Max, that battery health sucked. But with the 16 Pro Max, it has become much, much better. And I'm confident to say that probably in the next 6 months, 98, 99% still. So if you are someone that really gets mad with the battery health going down very, very fast on your iPhones, take care knowing that the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it's a beast on that regard. As for the overall durability of this phone, I've been rocking this phone without a case for most of its time, and checking it, I can't see any scratches or any dents on the titanium, which is really, really good. On the display, I rock a screen protector. I'm not that mad, guys. So I don't have any scratches, any problems with my display, still brand new. The camera lenses are also brand new, only some fingerprints, but other than that, nothing else. And the back glass is also brand new. So this is a very, very durable iPhone with titanium sides being very, very resistant to shock and to denting, and of course, very, very resistant to fingerprints. On the contrary to the stainless steel found on older iPhones, Pro models specifically, the titanium is a big, big improvement if you are coming from an iPhone 14 or older. And of course, you also have a smaller and lighter iPhone because those iPhones were pretty big and pretty heavy. The 18 Pro chip here, I mean, it's such a small upgrade comparing to the iPhone 15 Pro Max's A17 Pro. I cannot tell you that there's a big difference. Again, both phones feature Apple Intelligence, which is still not available in the EU, and which I cannot review right now. Such a shame. I know that lots of people in the US and outside of the EU are reviewing Apple Intelligence, but most of the reviews that I've seen are pretty negative. So I'm still wondering, is it worth it? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a big gimmick? Is it not? Still don't know of that. We'll keep my verdict out of that because I have not reviewed it. I have not get it. I cannot use it in my country, so it's still not available. So if you are thinking of buying the iPhone 16 Pro Max just for that and you live in the EU, sorry to disappoint, it's not available here. Of course, the A18 Pro is far more than that. The 18 Pro is a very, very fast and efficient chip. I think that the biggest improvement you can notice is probably on the battery life. It's not on the performance, because the performance, I mean, most of the last 3-4 iPhones, they are still very, very fast on iOS. You can do all of the tasks without slowing down. Social media, photos, videos, you can do all of that. Maybe the things that you will notice more on the A18 Pro and the A17 Pro performance is on AAA game titles. It's only available on the iPhone 16 Pro Max and 15 Pro Max, not on older iPhones. So if you love to play Call of Duty, Resident Evil, or even Assassin's Creed on your iPhone, which is probably a very, very small percentage out of you, well, this phone performs really, really good. And I know that lots of people will be commenting right now, oh, what about overheating with this iPhone? The 15 Pro Max had some issues. Well, no issues to report. This phone does not overheat when taking videos, when playing games, no issues there. Of course, you might have a different experience, but for me, using it without a case, I never had or found any issues. As for the new features launched on the 16 Pro Max, well, camera control is a big, big gimmick, and the 40 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, you can notice it, but it's very, very small. So, starting off with the camera control, why is it a gimmick? Well, because I never use it, one, but two, I found it to be a bit cumbersome. So, what do I mean by this? Well, yesterday I had an episode that can really explain that. I was taking photos, Christmas photos with my mom in the streets with the Christmas lights. It was beautiful outside, videos, photos, but I was trying to take them with the most amount of quality possible. So, I was using the back camera to do so. Taking selfies with the back camera on the 16 Pro Max is a challenge. Why? Because you had to hold your phone like this. You can see what I mean? Like this. But you are holding the camera control side right here, as you can see. And you are trying to do anything, and you end up pressing this camera control or touching it or changing the camera settings out of it. And this creates a big problem because it means that you cannot take photos with your back camera while you are holding it like this. You need to find other ways around it, and I find it to be very, very cumbersome. Of course, could be my issue, could be my problem, but I would say that for the times that I've used it in the last 3 months, which were once or twice, and for the times that it was actually a problem for me, very, very balanced. So I would say it's a big gimmick. I wouldn't upgrade for it, and I wouldn't use it. Right now, I don't have Apple Intelligence, so I don't have any type of Apple Intelligence feature that you can use with your camera control, but it's still a very, very strange option from Apple, adding an hardware button to an iPhone that only replaces a screen control. I don't know why they did it. It's still a very big question for me. As for the cameras, these are the best cameras in any smartphone in 2024. in my opinion, of course. But again, they are pretty similar to the 15 Pro Max. The main sensor and the telephoto are the same, so you won't notice any big differences there. As for the 40 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, well, the story is different, because it has a bigger sensor, and with more megapixels, you can take sharper photos with more detail, closer to the main sensor, closer, not the same, and I might say it's closer, but it's not that close. So they need to have some work on it still, but it's really, really good. Especially at night, you can notice the differences between the 15 Pro Max and the 16 Pro Max's bigger ultra-wide sensor. The photos are sharper, and at low-light photos, they have less noise. As for the main sensor, it takes beautiful night photos, beautiful day photos, food, animals, beautiful landscape photos. This phone is incredible. The cameras are incredible. They have natural depth of field. They have bokeh. They have that big sensor look. It's one of the first times that I can notice that an iPhone is becoming really, really close to my mirrorless camera. And that's a big, big thing, because smartphones are so small, so compact, and maybe in 2-3 years, they might replace our cameras. As for the telephoto, the same telephoto from the 15 Pro Max, but I would say that this is a great, great telephoto. If you are coming from an older iPhone, like an iPhone 14 Pro Max, 13 Pro, 15 Pro even, the 5X telephoto, the 120mm telephoto, it's great for portrait photography, or even for landscape photography, or food photography, any type of different perspective that you want to have from your iPhone. It's so cool to look at, so cool to take photos with. I love going to stadiums, to football games, and take photos out of the players, because these can zoom so much further than other phones. Insane. The only phone that actually was even crazier than the iPhone 16 Pro Max was the S24 Ultra's crazy 100x zoom or 50x zoom, but it was insane. Like, I've tried the S22 Ultra's 100x zoom, crazy insane. It was crazy, but I mean, the quality was kind of bad. But the S24 Ultra was insane, and the quality was actually really good, while the 15 Pro Max can only go to 25x, which is still really good and very, very far away. The Pixel could also go to 25x, but the Pixel had a mode that can improve with AI the quality of your zoom shots. So in terms of zoom, this is the best ever on an iPhone, but it's not the best ever on any smartphone. And so let me know what you think. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is a very, very expensive iPhone and a very, very expensive phone, but it's one of the best, and in my opinion, the best you can get in 2024. Let's see what Samsung does right now with the S25 Ultra in the beginning of the year, but I'm very interested to know. Do you like the iPhone 16 Pro Max? Do you have an iPhone 16 Pro Max or 16 Pro, whatever? Let me know your experience in the comments down below. Should you upgrade? Well, that depends on your model. If you have an iPhone 13 Pro Max or older, it's a good upgrade. You will love it. If you have the 14 Pro Max, 15 Pro Max, whatever, the upgrade will be small, and I think you'll be kind of disappointed with the 16 Pro Max. But let me know below what you think. Drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Merry Christmas, guys. Bye-bye.